How's it going, Orange County? And welcome to the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the only podcast. I don't know what it is. That's Ray's job. Obviously.
Dedicated to Orange County, its fans and supporters.
Semantics. No, there's your fans and supporters. So semantics.
Fine. This is another Alan Underwood podcast now. Anyway, way down there in the corner, we're brought to you by Roughneck Scarves. At least I know that part. We've got a lot to talk about.
Some juicy
goodness
stuff.
Me, we've got lots of friends, a little bit of the past, and a really big game coming up tomorrow. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
Towards the near post, the flick, and it's in! Darwin Jones with the response for Orange County. And it is a massive one, off the goal, dominant in the last 10. Forrester in the middle now, gets around a few defenders. Forrester with the outside of right foot. What a strike by Harry Forrester. It's the opening goal for Orange County.
Has it down, back post, opportunity and a goal! A beautiful goal by Orange County.
This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. Follow us on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast or on Facebook at Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
Ray's trying to sass me there for not telling people where to find us. But you just heard it. You just heard it. You know where to find us if you've somehow randomly stumbled upon this. All right. Well, there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of faces, as Superfan Andy has already said. So we'll start with the main man himself, El Jefe, DJ Ray Samora. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm using my mobile internet to connect on this. I'm on a vacation at a vintage RV park in Ventura. It's called Waypoint. It's a pretty cool place. It's awesome during these times where you need to stay separated because each individual vacationer is in an RV, a vintage RV, and we're having fun. And I got to do the Super Jan Vertonghen ripoff of the shirt in honor of the now former Tottenham Hotspur man. Thanks for hosting this, Dylan.
Yeah, sure thing. Hello to your child. We just hope you're socially distancing or whatever. We'll hop on over to the other main man of this podcast, Mr. Alan Underwood down in San Diego. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm in mid-podcast form because we just got done doing the fair weather one. So I am all sassed up and ready to go. I am almost more than halfway through a crowler. So sorry, Phoenix fans. I'm going to get a little bit sassy tonight.
Can I say really quick, Dylan? Really quick, can I say, Alan, you're way behind on the crowlers. I'm already too deep on the crowler.
You're on vacation, man. I got to work.
So, yeah, tough luck.
I refuse to dignify that with a response. We'll talk to one last Orange County man and see how he's doing before we journey up north. Cameron Millage from a Mouthful of History podcast. How are you doing?
Doing all right. I mean, I feel like as this goes on, you feel a little bit of the stir craziness of everything. You know, you try to keep yourself occupied as much as possible, stay productive, but then it's just like everything's just shut down. Everything's on pause. So I feel like the wheels are stuck in neutral for a little bit, but productive nonetheless.
Glad to hear it, I guess. I don't know. I think we're probably all feeling the same thing. Let's take a quick journey north, and we'll chat to our good friend John from the Sactown podcast. Well, we've got two of you, but we'll talk to John first.
All's good.
You're right there. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Got out to training today for the Republic to kind of hear what Coach has to say about the game for tomorrow. So we'll share some of that. But, you know, quarantine life is it's not bad, but when you can't go outside because your yard is destroyed for a swimming pool, it gets a little hectic, especially when the kids want to camp out and do fun things. So they're downstairs right now camping in the living room in a tent. So hopefully they enjoy that.
Imagination. They could be anywhere in the world. And last but certainly not least, Luis, also from Sactown FC podcast. Luis, how are things going?
Things are going good. Just dealing with the 3-digit weather down here in Modesto and California Central Valley. So, it's that good old summertime, and so having to deal with that. Other than that, I'm super excited to see our teams play tomorrow. I think it's going to be a good game. Sadly, we're not coming from a good game. We're pretty disappointed in our last game, but still, nonetheless, I think we've had pretty good games, and looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, not the best result. We'll get there in a minute, but first we have to recap our 1-0 victory over Phoenix Rising FC on Saturday night. Feels like a lifetime ago already. I was shaken this entire match, but lots to talk about. Since I'm pretty sure he didn't watch it, let's talk to Ray first. Ray, give us your thoughts on this match.
Oh, dude, I watched it. I watched it with Andy. We were in a Facebook room watching this match, talking about it, and it was pretty amazing. And let me just say this right off the top: is we gave props during that stream to Mr. Cameron, because he called it. If you can hold Phoenix from scoring for the first 20 to 25 minutes, it's going to frustrate them. And lo and behold, we saw what's the dude's name? Santi Moore shove Coach Braden Cloutier and get a second yellow, which forced a red card on it, which made things awesome. And we were just loving that match on that stream. Unfortunately, no one else joined us in that room, but it was pretty damn cool. And Orange County just dominated. I want to say this. I know Phoenix fans are salty about the result, and they are finding any reason to complain on why Phoenix lost that match. But in the end, Orange County dominated that match. They were in control. They played their game plan, and they made it work. And it could have been a lot more than a 1-0 victory. Aiden Quinn, because of poor field conditions, missed a penalty, and there was a couple of other opportunities that Orange County should have scored a goal to add more to that. So awesome match from Orange County. They proved that. I think Kevin Alston was on last week saying they feel like they are equal to Phoenix, that they should be able to beat Phoenix. And it proved in these two matches against them. We drew the first match. We won the second match.
It's true, we did, and it was a really good performance. Unfortunately, most of that really got lost between a Santi Moara red card, and no, I feel like that was the big one. Now, Alan spent all weekend going back and forth with people on Twitter, mostly all from Phoenix, and maybe a few from other places as well. I feel bad for you, Alan.
Nope.
I guess I don't feel bad for him.
I have two things. Number one, at 36 minute, a Phoenix coach gets a ball and places it on the cone. So if we're really upset about coaches handling the ball as unsafe, then maybe you should talk to your own coaches. Number two, 71st minute, coach again handles a ball on the sideline for Phoenix. So again, if we're really worried about player safety, talk to your own damn coaches. Number three, why is Santi Moore even going to get a ball that's an Orange County free kick? Why is he going to the sideline? So if he's handling a ball that's not even their ball, you can't be mad when an Orange County coach picks up a ball and throws it into his own player when it's a Orange County free kick. And so Santi Moore shouldn't be getting the ball. If you're really worried about player safety, then your coaches need to stop touching the ball on the sideline. Number four, I came out and said, yes, what it looked like Cloutier throwing it away from Santi Moore is kind of a dick move. But then watching it back, it's an Orange County free kick, which means Orange County is in possession of the ball, which means Cloutier, in a normal position, those advertising boards are not there because they switched the direction of the camera for this match. I don't know if there's an ongoing thing, but regardless, or irregardless, if you're a new English person, whatever, regardless, Cloutier, in a normal position, would have a ball in front of him that he would just pick up and roll out to his players for his free kick. Braden Cloutier did just that. Santi Moore acted like an asshole. He's the one in the wrong. Now, Cloutier could have said something unprofessional afterwards, but you can't come at Cloutier without coming at your own player first. You can't blame Cloutier for your player acting a fool and pushing a coach. Now, credit to Santi Moore for coming out and taking responsibilities for his actions. And I think there are some Phoenix fans who are like, yeah, I get it. It was his bad. But they were coming at Cloutier like he was trying to be some like shit housing. But it wasn't. If you look at the replay again, he sees Santi Moore coming, sure, whatever, maybe. He picks up the ball and he rolls it to his own player. It's not like he threw it off to the side. He rolled it to his own player. Sorry, Dylan, you're going to have to edit. But he rolls it to his own player. Santi Moore then takes the action of placing his hands on another human and pushing him. Whether or not you think Cloutier made the most of it, it doesn't matter. Your own players make the most of it. Soccer players make the most of it, bringing attention to what happened on that pitch, or actually off the pitch. Santi Moore needs to know better. He's on a yellow card. You do not place your hands on a coach regardless of what happens. If you think the coach did something wrong, you say, hey, ref, WT, and then they can do what they're going to do. Cloutier should have gotten a yellow card if he said something he shouldn't have said, but you can't blame Cloutier for your own player shoving a coach. That is irresponsible, unprofessional. If you claim that Cloutier is unprofessional, can't have it both ways. It was a deserved second yellow. It was a deserved red card, and you can't come at Cloutier to pardon your own player's actions. It's the things my middle school kids say. Well, he was doing this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't absolve Santi Moore for making that mistake already on a yellow.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to give this like one more minute because there's really so much more to talk about from this match. Things that are yellow card offenses per the law of the game. Unsporting behavior. So that's like simulation, foul play, dissent, repeated fouling. Looks like Ray's gone. Whatever. Delaying the restart of play. Not respecting 10 yards. Entering or re-entering the field without the ref's permission. We saw that one last year. And leaving the field without ref's permission. I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say that Cloutier was just throwing the ball away, even though he threw it to Nathan Smith, just for the sake of saying he deserves a yellow for that, but really doesn't. Things that are red cards, serious foul play, violent conduct, spitting, denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity, offensive, insulting, or abusive language and or gestures, and receiving a second caution in the same match. So I saw a lot of people saying that Cloutier deserves a suspension for this. No, we see, even if you want to say that Cloutier was time wasting, we see this in every match. A player just tosses the ball away. We saw it like 5 or 6 times in this game. That's a thing that happens in this sport. I saw someone else on Twitter say that, quote, I feel like the bar for coaches needs to be higher, end quote. And this person is a Phoenix fan, and I think that's hilarious because there's not like there's no character test for being a manager. It's just like, can you run a team? Do you have a coaching badge?
Can you win?
Yes. Can you win? That's really the big one. And it's funny because Rick Shantz, I'm not exactly sure which one it is, technically has he only has a C badge. So I think he's the least qualified coach in the USL. Obviously, badge-wise, he's obviously doing great and has done well with his team. But just dumb stuff all around. Other dumb stuff, field, not super great. Way too dry last week, and this week, way too soft. We saw Darwin Jones take a pretty hard fall early on. And, of course, Hayden Quinn missed a penalty. So I think this one really comes down to Orange County making the most of their opportunities. Phoenix may be being a little bit naive and trying to play the same way that they played the week before. But, Cameron, I don't think you were at this match, or maybe you were at the fence. But give me your thoughts.
I was hiking Mount Baldy.
Look at this. Look at this cool guy. Well, did you watch it, or should I just...
I watched a little bit of it. It's like most of the highlights and whatnot. And I mean, it's nice to feel validated that a prediction gets right. Phoenix get frustrated. I mean, I think I said this last week that OC needs an early goal and Phoenix needs to keep a 0. Like, well, I mean, I don't know. I said Phoenix, they can't score early, but if you can keep a 0 on the board, they start frustrated. Orange County didn't, they didn't lose a step. And while this game was 1-0, it could have easily been 1-1 and 2-1 because that clear chance for the second yellow from Moir off the post that Andy posted a picture of like the Renaissance painting of all the Phoenix players getting really frustrated, like shocked after that. So I think that this was a huge win for Orange County. They didn't lose a step. And for a team that's only trained for like 3 weeks and only played 2 games, they looked way better than a team that trained over a few months and had like a warm-up match before the season started. And I think this is a huge momentum swinger for them.
Absolutely. Our good super fan friend Andy asked us how many shots Phoenix had on target in this match. 1. Orange County only had 2, but maybe not the most.
But 2 is better than
exciting
1.
offensive game. Yes, and it's even better when one of those finds the back of the net. Now, I think the biggest takeaway from this one, besides Orange County getting 3 points, is there was a lot of complaining on social media all around the Western Conference. And yet, if you watch the interviews with the Phoenix players at the end of this match, they all pretty much said the same thing. It took a red card and a missed sitter for us to care at all. And they turned it on in the second half, 60 minutes on, that final 30 minutes. They were pushing. They finally looked good after the triple substitution. That's how these things go sometimes. Any final words on this match? Alan, go ahead.
Daniel Finlinson is no joke. As young he is, he really stood up to the pressure. Nathan Smith also did very, very well. Rob Kiernan was like amazing, like just throwing his body around to clear out corner kicks. Like did not care. He was jumping the highest. What's that?
USL Team of the Week as well. Kiernan.
Yeah. Aiden Quinn was like classic Aiden Quinn. His balls over the top. He fed Sean Okoli. He was vintage Aiden Quinn. It was exciting. Kevin Coleman, oh my gosh, 2 weeks in a row is a star in the making. Like Kevin Coleman is no joke. Like beating guys off the dribble. Brian Olowski was great. Chandler Hoffman, I think he's going to come into himself. There was some like flashes of brilliance. I would like to see Sean Okoli not take so many heavy touches. I think that really hurt him in a lot of instances. But Aiden Quinn played out of his mind. Chrysostoma was good, but that back line, Daniel Finlinson held his own. And like I was watching it back and just like plus mark every time he did something great, like tackling, stand up defending. Like he is no joke. Orange County has a lot of young talent, and they're going to be hard to beat. Ray, you said you had some thoughts.
Yeah, I just have a quick last thought, and then I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my vacation. Orange County has a freaking good defense. 1 goal allowed in 3 matches so far this season. I know it's a very small sample size, but when 2 of those matches are against this so-called amazing offensive juggernaut in Phoenix, and Orange County is able to basically shut them down, forget a corner kick that led to a goal, I believe, from Solomon Asante in the first match, which was Orange County's first match back after the long delay there. Orange County has a solid defense, and I think the USL should beware. I think the USL Power Rankings has taken notice of that and put Orange County pretty high up there, which is pretty amazing because I know we've sort of made fun of the USL Power Rankings in the past. But I think USL teams need to be aware of Orange County's defense, and Sacramento will have to be wary of Orange County's defense because I think when you have players like Rob Kiernan and Nathan Smith, you look at him, watch him these 2 matches against Solomon Asante. He shut down probably one of the top offensive players in the USL with literally no problem there. You can look at numerous highlight reels from those two matches and see him just sort of play with Solomon Asante, which is pretty awesome. And then, you got Rob Kiernan, who's been amazing out there. He's been solid in these two return matches against Phoenix. So it's awesome. This defense for Orange County, it's going to be a big part of why Orange County is going to be successful this season. And we've gotten through our two toughest matches of the season, really, when you look at it against Phoenix. That's the scariest part. I know we have a future match against Phoenix, but at this point now, we don't have to worry about Phoenix and be scared of Phoenix heading to that match. It's going to be pretty amazing. And I think this defense is going to carry this team pretty far into the season and into the playoffs and have make Orange County, or let Orange County have a successful season this year and fight for the championship. So go Orange County, go defense. And I'll leave it with that. I'm going to let you guys go because I'm going to enjoy my vacation here. I just want to jump on because I really want to just talk about how strong our defense was with Orange County this season against Phoenix.
Thanks, Ray. You know where to find him. It says down there. That's his thing. He's going to go get drunk without us. Ooh, he's gone. All right. Well, he covered it pretty well. Let's head north to Sacramento. John, Luis, which one of you wants to take this? You guys have had a mixed bag of results since the restart. So run us through what's gone well and what's gone wrong.
Well, it started off with the goalkeeping. I mean, we were concerned about the goalkeeping to start the year with some howlers that were happening, near post getting beat. And then in the Tacoma game, it came down to defense and lack of passing or where to pass the ball. Midfield turnover led to a tie. And then after that game, Coach Briggs talked about the physicality, right? Needing to be there, needing to be present, playing with your heart and pushing the envelope a little bit, making teams kind of collapse. And you kind of saw that with Herzog in the Reno game. Couple shoves, he falls apart. And so they walked away with a 1-0 draw. Move forward, you're thinking, okay, great. Things are starting to click. Think still not scoring like we should. Over the last two games, we've had 40-plus shots. 12 of those shots have gone on target. So you can kind of think about what's happening as it relates to what's going on with the team not being able to finish, because that's going to be the hardest part. And even in training today, the emphasis was on just getting repetition of finish, just going through and getting the opportunity to make a difference somehow, some way. Because if you're going to go up against Orange County, who's got a solid midfield, you've got, I'm going to tout and praise Kevin Coleman because he's an up-and-coming player, 22 years old, doing awesome things. Seth Kasipley had nothing but good things to say about him. So the idea is going to be, controlling the game. I'm not too concerned about the defense. I think they'll have that shorn up. But if you can't score, you can't win. And you'll just take draws, as I heard earlier on the Fair Weather podcast. So we'll see.
A wonderful knock on over to Alan's podcast, another member of the BGN. Just a friendly reminder that BGN is brought to you by Roughneck Scarves and Icarus FC. I don't think it's the 31st of the month. Maybe there's a full moon. I don't know what's going on, but we'll hop on over to Luis. Luis, what are your thoughts? What's going on up in Sacramento?
Yeah, I mean, the coach is still trying to figure out what formation to use, what his actual starting 11 will be. But main issue that we've noticed with the team in the past three matches is really the lack of being able to convert the opportunities that we get, because we have a lot of opportunities, and match through match we've had so many chances that they don't take advantage of, and then we either get tight on or we end up losing, like was the case against Los Dos on Saturday too. So it'll be really important for the team to make sure that they really score the opportunities that they get in tomorrow's match. And we talked about it on our podcast the other day too, but it'll be a critical 3 points for us. I mean, if we lose this match, we're going to start falling behind in the group. We have other teams in the group that have a couple of games in hand, and so losing here could really mean us being down by like 9 points to first place. So really critical to get that win tomorrow. And then we have another difficult matchup on Saturday against San Diego as well. So not the best probably time to play against Orange County, being that, you guys have had a really good match against Phoenix even before then too, getting that tie against them. And so it'll be interesting, but whoever manages to win this match is really going to be a lot of help, I think, for them, especially in their group, whether it be Sacramento or Orange County. So I think this match could prove to be critical, especially when it comes to those final games and trying to figure out who gets to be in first and second place too. So we're excited though anyway, even though we haven't had a good match previously too, and just to put out a stat out there, Cameron Iwasa, who is our leading goal scorer, he's actually scored 5 goals against Orange County. Last time you guys came over, he did score 2 goals, and so let's hope that he has his boots on right and that he's able to score some more goals, because this season he did score a last minute penalty against Reno. But other than that, I mean, we haven't really seen him that much. We've been a bit disappointed in his performance lately. So let's see if he gets a good shot on goal tomorrow and gets it in.
Alan?
Yeah, so I mean, regardless of what happens over the next week with Orange County and San Diego, the reality is Portland Timbers 2 right now is pretty terrible. Tacoma's fine, but you're still a point ahead of them, even on games played. Reno's obviously 2 games behind. Los Dos really put a lot of pressure on Sacramento, and Sacramento really gave up possession a lot and really didn't get a lot going for a good chunk of the match. Do you think that Sacramento is wanting to hold on to possession more against Orange County? Is that the hope? Or is this like a concern going forward that if teams put Sacramento under pressure, they're not going to really be able to work out of that pressure well?
That's interesting, because one of the things that they have been focused on lately is giving pressure back when you turn the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about what's happening with the team, I'm not overly concerned about them giving up in the midfield because they're trying to press forward. Yes, I'd like to see more possession. I think you saw that in the first game back against Tacoma. You had Wheeler and Lopez in the midfield, and then you shifted to kind of a different formation in general with Roro, Villanueva, Jaime, Villarreal. You had Villian and Werner. So you're playing two guys wide. You also have your wing backs. So it's going to be interesting, because I don't think that they're giving the ball, turning the ball over like you think. I think it's just there's miscues and they're not firing, they're not making the correct passes and the decisions, and they're kind of forcing the issue up front, trying to score goals.
Do you think that's like maybe a little bit overconfidence playing against a team like against Los Dos, where it's like, hey, we're gonna the stigma of Los Dos is they're just a 2 team, they're a bunch of kids, they did terribly against Phoenix. You think it was maybe a mentality going to that match that was concern, or is it like, hey, they played a pretty decent match against Los Dos, but there was a lot of times where Los Angeles was able to put them under pressure to not really fire them. I mean, they got 20 shots off still, but there were, especially in the first half, it seemed like Sacramento was put under pressure a lot. Do you think they are going to be able to do what they've been able to do against Reno against Orange County?
I don't even think they know what they're able to do yet, to be honest. I think there's a lot that's still missing. It's still a young season. They're really trying to focus on just finishing, right? Finishing in the 18, finishing the 6, get those touches in, because even during training, you can see the emphasis. Coach knows what he has. Everybody on that roster is there for a reason. They have great depth, and it's just a matter of putting it all together. It's still early. It's still something that they're working on as a cohesive unit. Even today, during training, there was guys bickering at one another, and that's kind of good to hear, is that there's still a little fight, and they're still trying to figure out what they are trying to accomplish together. And I can only see good things happening against OC as a growth for them, even win or lose.
I would say Alan too. I mean, I don't think we saw it so much against Los Dos that they maybe had overconfidence too, but definitely the first game coming back from the long rest period against Tacoma, we started losing 1-0. Literally, it was like the first minute. We scored 3 goals by the end of the first half, and so up 3-1, and then second half comes by, and I feel like they came out with really high confidence that the game was sealed already, that they had everything controlled, and then we were tied close to the end of the match too. So I feel like there was really a lot of confidence in that game. We saw it if we go back to that first game of the season against Tulsa back in March. We were winning 1-0 the whole game. They seemed to be really confident. We were superior in that game, had much more possession, and I think everyone underestimated Tulsa. I think I include myself too. We talked about that game back then, and same thing happened. We got tied towards the end of the game too. So I think there might be an element of overconfidence, especially when we are up in the scoreline, especially if it happens early on in the game, because with Reno, we ended up scoring a penalty kick towards the end of the game. It was pretty much the last play of the game. And so there is that key aspect that not only are we not scoring all the opportunities that we get, which, like as you were saying, we do get much more opportunities than our rivals, and we've shown it in these past couple matches, but the team doesn't really know how to stick to a lead and actually maintain that lead, and that can be really bad, especially in future games as well too. So we're hoping that things change around, that players learn how to keep a result and not always hope to score at the last minute, so they don't have to deal with that a lot. So that's, I think, one of our biggest issues so far.
Andy, our wonderful super fan, pointed out this sounds a lot like Orange County in 2019, and that's true. Holding on to a lead was something we could not do until Christian Duke returned.
Draw FC.
Basically. We didn't get an away win until 3 weeks ago this time last year, until the 4th of July. I think it was our 17th match or our 18th match. So we know you're
And another thing to think about that was Sacramento's first away game all season. Heading down, traveling. You can't make excuses, right? We're all playing the same game. It's turf. We're not playing in front of fans. Everybody's kind of under the same circumstances, but that travel does take a toll, especially going down towards LA on a Saturday or Friday night. Traffic's kind of bad. Even during quarantine, it's still heavy. They're always doing something on the 5. That creates a little bit more of a hectic travel schedule. So that could have had some impact on them being prepared. But as Coach Briggs says, doesn't matter. Once you cross that line, you need to be ready, and whatever that takes, it's your responsibility. You're a professional. You play the game, so do it your best.
You're absolutely right. That's why you take the 99 south. For anyone that's ever curious, you just take the 99. It's way easier. Cameron, you said you had some comments, so try to keep it G-rated, unlike Alan earlier.
Well, I mean, it's just
PG-13.
Sacramento, yeah, it's very much a mixed bag from what I've seen. Like a good win against Reno, but then also a disappointing result against G2, or formerly Los Dos. And I look at it, Sacramento's getting a ton of opportunities to score, and they aren't capitalizing on it. So it'd be nice it's good to have a home game for you guys, of course, to get at least some confidence back. So if Sacramento were to defeat Orange County, what is one thing that has to be done in game for that to happen?
Them to score more than 1 goal.
I wouldn't even probably. I probably would say. I mean, win towards the end of the match. I mean, going back again to that Reno game, we scored at the end, and they didn't have a chance to respond, and it's seeming like that's really what needs to happen. If not, then man, I guess probably have a 3-goal lead with 10 minutes left in the match, and I would hope that they would be able to at least get a tie out of that. But yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing for the team is going to be to be able to get a win and not either be tied or either lose the match, but to get a win where we can be confident and say that the team was superior. I think that's what's going to get them to change the mentality that they have going on right now. If we get a tie, or if we lose the match or whatnot, then I think this team is going to keep on doing the same things too, and it's going to hurt us a lot too. And so yeah, I mean, a 3-goal lead would be ideal because we gave up the 2-goal lead against Tacoma, so I would hope a 3-goal lead wouldn't be given up.
Yeah,
John, I think you had a thought.
Yeah, you got to stay focused, right? I mean, that's the point of the game. And if you're not going to be there for a full 90, if you lose attention, go back to the Tacoma game, right? They're up 3-2. It's late in the match. There's a possession error in how they passed out of the back. The ball went straight down to into the middle. Drew Skendrick had 3 guys around him, had a bad first touch, and Tacoma basically picked it up, ended up on a counterattack through midfield because the wing backs had pushed up so high. So there's just these little things that need to be fixed. We've seen it fixed time and time again. We've seen the defense get mad at each other. We saw this last weekend. The defense made an error after a great save from Grinwis, and the collision that he took. Don't know if that had an impact on that goal going in, but there's definitely some things that were positive that came from that match, but a lot of negative that you're like, all right, what are you practicing? What are you training on? And hopefully they can start tying things together going forward.
This is really, I mean, with the restart and everything, it's kind of like the first 2 weeks of March all over again. Late
but
July,
with less games, right? I mean,
matter.
We're already 4 games in. That's 4 less games we have to make up in the standings. I mean, yes, we're ahead. That's great. But Reno, who knows? Maybe even Reno gets the Orlando Pride, or even some of the MLS issues, the Nashville issue, right, where they have to pull out because they can't get their guys healthy. So they missed another match. It's the second match they've had to withdraw from that are getting pushed back later and later. I'm sorry, that kind of gives you an unfair advantage because you can see what the schedule looks like. You could see who you're playing, and you can kind of, at that point, cherry pick, knowing that your last few games are easy W's. We'll see.
It's going to be an interesting finish if we get there. I mean, lots of positive tests all over the USL. Alan saying that with the USL it takes about 10 games. I think that's pretty fair. As hard as it is to do this, given that there's only a handful of games played, let's get some score predictions for this match. This is probably the most difficult one for all of us to predict, given on how the last few matches have gone. So, Alan, we'll go to you first. Who's winning? Who's the key player? What's going on?
I'm gonna be consistent as possible. I picked Orange County to win about an hour ago. I think Orange County is able to pull something out. And again, no disrespect to Sacramento Republic. I think they're better than their record shows. I think Sacramento over the course of a season is going to figure some stuff out, and it's going to be a tough out, especially when it comes to the playoffs. But I have Orange County winning this one. I'm going to go with a hashtag Marissa Classic, and I'm going to say like a 2-1 Orange County victory. They put a lot out there for that Phoenix match. Sacramento just played 2. Both teams play on Wednesday. Sacramento plays again on Saturday. So I'm not sure, what the idea is. You put up the strongest team against Orange County, and then maybe you figure stuff out from then. Or do you put out a weaker team against Orange County because you're like, we're probably going to lose this one anyway, and then try to take it to San Diego. I think Orange County takes this one 2-1.
All right. Head on down to you, Luis. Who's going to win? Who's the key player for this match?
I'm going to go with the easier one. I'm going to say that we actually tie. I go with a 2-2 score lane. I gave Iwasa another chance since he scored 5 goals against Orange County overall in his career. So I gave him an opportunity to score a goal, and then I think it'll be one of those matches where you guys go up first, we tie it up, you guys go up again, and then we tie it up towards the end of the game too. So it could be a little bit different than it was in our previous games too. But I think we come out of this with a 2-2 draw. I mean, of course, I hope that Sacramento wins, but I see a 2-2 draw in this case.
It is a fair shout. Of course, Iwasa is going for his 50th ever USL goal. That would make him the 9th ever player to do that. So that's a pretty small group. And guys who are really freaking good are on that list. So hopefully it doesn't happen this week. Hopefully it happens next match day, excuse me. Cameron, who's winning this one and who's your man of the match?
Okay, so I'm going to be out of left field with my prediction here. I usually tend to keep it close, like 1-0, 2-1, 2-0, 2-2. I'm going to say OC wins this 4-2. I think that Sacramento is going to raise their game. I think they're going to score some goals, albeit only 2. But I just think that the way how potent Orange County is on offense and how well they've done on defense, I think they could get a lapse in concentration because I said 2 goals for Sacramento. I think Sacramento will score. I think Iwasa will get on the score sheet. But I think OC is just too loaded on offense to not get shut out. So, but I do think Sacramento is going to raise their game, but I think it's going to cost them. I think they might push forward too much. They will score some goals, but I think OC solid defensively, and Orange County is they're a balanced side, and they got too many weapons, and I think they'll roll through.
All right. Well, raising your game is a USL special. John, who's going to win this match or draw, and who's going to be your man of the match?
This is going to be a dogfight. I mean, both teams are going to go back and forth. These two teams, when they play, you're always looking forward to maybe 4 or 5 goals. Let's be honest about that. The one thing that Sacramento has to its advantage from its roster is its depth. If you look at what they can do, they can put out 5 new attackers at any time that can come on and change the game. You're not going to see the same squad that you've seen the last 2 matches. You might see Carlton Belmar get his first start. You might even see a youngster start on the flank as well with Formella playing in that forward position still. But I think all in all, Orange County goes up first. Kevin Coleman scores a goal. Sacramento comes back with 2 of their own. And Seth Kasipli, just because he's a friend, he's going to score. So I'll make it 2-2. And then the Republic will find a way in the end. And I'm going to say Carlton Belmar is going to get a hat trick. I think he's due. He's a very impactful player. He's very quick, very much like Kevin, like Coleman is for you guys. But Belmar's there's something that he's had the last few training sessions. There's something that I see after games talking to him. I think he's going to come out and he's going to show why he deserves to start for the Sacramento Republic every game going forward and gets the hat trick.
Wow. I called Cameron for the hot take, but I think John has a hot take there with a Belmar hat trick. Ray vehemently disagree. He does not approve of that at all. Of course, there is a common link between these two sides, and that's Thomas Enevoldsen. He was last in Denmark for the birth of his child. Obviously, he wasn't doing the birthing. I don't think he's going to be back. I didn't see him over the weekend. Everything's up in the air. Who knows if he can even get back in right now? Does he want to get back in right now? His kid was just born. Spend some time with your newborn. There'll be another season. There's a few months of this one left, barring any sort of postponements. I think this one's a 3-2 victory for Orange County, and that's a callback to the last time these two teams played back in October, which was a little bit heated at the end of that one. I
That was spicy.
basically remember really bad announcing, which is saying something because Alan and I are terrible announcers, and Jordan McCrary throwing some punches at Joe Amigo, but missing. It was wild. Ray says he's going to bet $20 that Carlton Belmar will not score a hat trick. So I don't know. You guys can sort that out later on. But
I'll put a beer on it. I'll put a crowler on it.
Wow, John has raised his game. That's how you know this is the USL, everyone. I love it. I love it.
A parity level is so high that crowler at $20 is feasible.
Hey man,
it's feasible.
It's the same.
Same. I mean, true. But what beer would you get?
New Glory Gummy Worm.
Oh,
a hazy pale ale.
Is that a Sacramento delicacy?
That is
delicacy because beer is not enjoyed everywhere.
That was the first thing that popped out of my head. Delicacy.
No, Ray, I'm not scared. So when I come down, Ray's saying, "Am I scared?" No, I'm not scared. When I come down to OC to watch from whatever fan base you guys have left, I'll just give you a beer. We'll be all right. Because we know Sacramento will travel better than you guys have fans. I'm just saying.
Wow. All right. I didn't realize that we had invited some New Mexico United fans or some Phoenix fans here.
No.
But
all good. All good.
All right. Well, this is quickly taking a downturn, and
I'll get a half scarf. I'll get a half scarf.
Is that before or after Sacramento keeps getting delayed into the MLS?
After, obviously, because we're gonna be in USL until 2030 now. Who knows? I mean, just keep pushing it back, right? Thank you, Nashville. You've messed it up for everybody.
They're a disaster.
It is true. Ray has one final question before we get on to bigger and better things. Is there such thing as a Sacramento delicacy? Now, my friends would like me to say it's cow pies. I disagree. I would say it's just, I don't know. What is a Sacramento? Yeah, that's a delicacy everywhere, unfortunately. So maybe not. Anyway,
actually, halfway decent public transit in downtown.
That's decent.
We have nothing here in Orange County. It's the biggest fault of it's one of the big faults of our county, besides some other massive glaring issues. But bigger and better things. Any other soccer-related news, anyone?
Congratulations to the Houston Dash for winning the NWSL Challenge Cup. Fantastic soccer. Super, super, super engaging. I didn't want to bring it up with Ray. This is the reason Ray didn't want to stay around the whole time, because he got destroyed in the NWSL fantasy shenanigans. That's why he's not here to rub it in. But congratulations, Houston Dash, and congratulations to NWSL for creating a safe tournament that really respected the players and really showcased a phenomenal, I don't want to say women's soccer, a soccer event that really brought people together in a way I don't think people had anticipated. I can't wait for LA to get going. I can't wait for Orange County and San Diego and Sacramento to all get women's NWSL sides, because I hope it's coming. But congratulations to Houston Dash and the NWSL.
And how about the number they got, though, on that, too? So the draw they got from that, the second highest watch from the day, 527K for the opener, 653,000 viewers on this final. The only match that did more was the 750 of Manchester United making the Champions League by beating Leicester. Go away.
All right. Well, no one cares, so we're just gonna. How do I do it? I think that's how we do it. Cameron, I believe you're gonna start talking about Angel City FC.
I was not.
Oh, okay. Well, you can give us random soccer-related news anyway.
So, I mean, here's the thing. LAFC defeated the Sounders, and imagine if LAFC win this tournament without Carlos Vela. I think that will blow a hole into anything MLS related, and it shows that LAFC are just a damn good team. and they'll smoke Orlando and just get business done. Brief, I know.
Okay.
But
Love it. Alan's just gone now. I don't blame him. I feel bad. Let the record state that I feel bad.
He's puking in the toilet.
Luis and or John, do you have any other random soccer-related news? We would love to hear what is interesting in the Central Valley. Or anywhere.
You got Liga MX. I'm a big fan of Liga MX too. Cruzul's my number one there. But they just came back. It's the first week games. Started last Friday too. They've had to switch a couple of matches around too. We had 3 matches yesterday on Monday, which we were only supposed to have 1. So COVID cases are popping around the league too. It's kind of sad to see all that because it's really affecting a lot of the teams too. So we'll see how far they'll extend the league, and just hoping that they don't cancel the league like they did at the beginning of the last season too, where we only played 10 matches and my team was first place, and of course they decided to get rid of the league there. But yeah, I mean it's going to be interesting to see that too. I mean, we saw it with some MLS teams too, getting some players too. But I do want to say, shout out to the NWSL because they had 0 cases of COVID too, and it just goes to show you that they did a really good job in organizing the Challenge Cup, whereas other tournaments and even other sports, maybe they're lacking on stuff, or maybe athletes aren't, taking this as serious as they should too. So shout out to them for that organization because other leagues are not doing their thing.
It's a fair shout. John, any soccer-related news?
Yeah, August 21st and 22nd, the Women's Champions League returns. Lyon out of France has an opportunity to win their 5th consecutive Women's Champions League title, which is huge. If you think about how many teams have been able to do that on the men's side, the women's side being able to have that dominance as a club in that competition is pretty high. They open up, I believe, against Glasgow City. And hopefully, I'd love to see them win, but I'd also love somebody else to have an opportunity to carry that torch going forward. But they are the best women's side in women's soccer right now. Wolfsburg's not far behind. Arsenal women. You're going to see a lot of teams start to bring in American talent and get going. So I'm excited.
It should be a wonderful time. My only soccer-related news is putting up the final scores from our Playing for Pride from the NWSL Challenge Cup. Shout out to the Dash. Congratulations, Alan. 57 points. Ray with 33. The Fan, the other 2 random teams / Alan's wife, Sarah, got 32 points. And as per usual, I brought up the rear with 27. So another terrible year for me and Playing for Pride, but that'll be another chunk of change donated. And I think we all really got to enjoy watching some really high-level NWSL play. And I think the biggest thing there was it didn't take anyone from the national team. I think it was almost better without that. And seriously, shout out to the Dash, and shout out to anyone who bet on them because they definitely took some money home. I think their odds were like 3,000 to 1 or however that works. I don't know betting stuff. Alan, tell me how it works.
Houston Dash was like 7th out of 8 to win, and they decided to play beautiful soccer and win. Yeah, Rachel Daly was amazing. I think Houston just proved that it's not necessarily about the stars on the team, but the team on the pitch. And they played as a team, and it was really fun to watch them play for each other. And that there were crazy amounts of goalkeeper amazingness in the opening round. I think all 3 of the 4 went to penalty kicks on 0-0 draws. But amazing play. You can be like, oh, the women's goalkeepers aren't as good. They were phenomenal. It's slower. They don't run as fast. Those women are doing amazingly athletic things. So get over yourselves and enjoy some women's soccer.
Hey, that the goalkeeper for the Thorns made a save that I would say 80% of men couldn't save. She was flat-footed, came across her body, her upper hand knocked the ball away. You don't see men being able to do that at times, and her athleticism. All the goalkeepers, Sheridan winning Golden Gloves, and Campbell having a pretty good final. She wasn't tested very much, but when she was called upon, she made the save she needed to make.
I heard De Gea was taking some notes.
Needs to. And he's got those hole in the hands, man. It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, lovely stuff. Most of the people I see complaining about women's soccer being less athletic than men's usually don't have any room to be talking about athleticism. So, funny how those things work. All right. Well, we're all excited. Well, us SoCal people are excited because we've got Angel City FC. And it seems like they're kind of going to unify Los Angeles between LAFC and the Galaxy. I'm thrilled to have an NWSL team in LA. That is my soccer-related news. I cannot wait. I think probably all of our listeners cannot wait. It seems like they've got a really great group. So fingers crossed for great things. Now, finally, random thoughts. It is that time as we reach the hour mark. I think we've all been on the show, so we all know what's going on, and we'll start with Alan. What is your random thought?
My random thought is read How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi. It's a great book. I'm about halfway through. Read it, engage, have conversations. Racism and that kind of stuff is not taboo to talk about. Be willing to talk about it. If we're willing to talk about sexism, if we're willing to talk about any other topic, racism and race should be something that we are comfortable talking about and being able to admit our faults. Just like Manchester United fans have to admit that they're Manchester United fans. But How to Be an Anti-Racist, Ibram X. Kendi, he's a phenomenal writer. He makes great cases. He lays it all out there, admits his flaws, and it's a great read.
Wonderful. Cameron, random thought for the week.
So, as for the podcast that I'm working on, we have a few episodes lined up. So we're about to release, second episode of the Indochina War. And I was talking to my brother Alex, and he mentioned about the Red Army faction, and they were a left-wing group that wanted to get ex-Nazis out of the West German government, and they kind of fall on the same spectrum, like the nationalist terrorism of the 70s and 80s with ETA in Spain. You have Red Army faction here, and it was kind of reading about that again made me want to do my next episode on that. So seeing these left-wing groups in Germany kind of highlight what was going on between East and West Germany in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And it was an interesting topic, and I was able to do a little bit of research on it. And, all right. But yeah, so Bader Meinhof Gang, Red Army faction. Look for that in future episodes.
You just spent 2 minutes promoting your own podcast. Nice. I forgot who I said was next. I think it was John. John, what's your random thought for this week?
If you need a good book to read, 2 Stamped from the Beginning, The Definitive History of Racist Ideas in America. Great book. Just finished reading that for my history kids. And also Super Life, which is based as a book based on the Netflix documentary series with Zac Efron that just came out recently. And it is it's worth a watch. So if you jump on to see the wonderful world of Zac Efron on Netflix, you'll find, I believe it's Down to Earth. But that's it's a great little documentary to watch about super life, essentially.
Everyone likes to read. I know Ray is probably listening, and it is my podcast now because everyone wants to read. Luis, what's your random thought for this week?
I'm I'm not gonna add another rating thing too, because I think I'm too busy recording and then editing podcasts too. I also do the Pasión MX podcast too, a part of our Sactown network, and it's a podcast in Spanish about Liga MX. We do it weekly to talk about the games going on each week too. So we will be doing an episode here pretty shortly tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific too. Also, just about to start a new podcast with our Cup of Tea co-host Liz. Going to be doing a podcast called Academy Warriors. Pretty much going to be helping anyone who is trying to go into college, or maybe going through college, or maybe already graduating and trying to look for a career. So look out for that in the podcast world, because we are going to be launching that here shortly.
I will take an interest in that one. Someone please, God, hire me. I'm smiling through the pain. But everyone here is suggesting books. Who am I to disagree? Mine is Little Brother by Cory Doctorow. Very, very realistic and topical. Or Homeland, also a book by Cory Doctorow. That's Doctorow. My other random thought, because I never follow the rules because I'm pulling a Ray, is support people who do good things in the USL, in NISA, whatever, NWSL, MLS, abroad. Support content creators that don't suck. Stop quote tweeting people that just come up with bad takes and dunking on them because you're just improving their metrics. Really, come on, people. Be good to one another and support good people like Jason Weintraub at Home Sweet Soccer on Twitter. He is the man. He is super smart. He is wonderful. I can see all of our wonderful guests and co-hosts putting people who put terrible takes on Twitter in the comments. And yeah, I don't need to name names. You can probably tell who they are. Just block them and move on with your life. Love one another. Support good people. Support local soccer. This has been the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. Alan, please go. Okay, fine. Cameron, go ahead.
Wear a mask.
Wear a mask. All right, great one.
Sure.
This has been the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, 101 episodes strong. Alan, send us out.
Thanks to our sponsor, Roughneck Scarves, official scarf supplier of the MLS, USL, and US Soccer. Get your custom scarves for your group or team at roughneckscarves.com. Tired of those same old uniforms and cookie cutter templates from Nike and Adidas? Looking for a unique, completely custom kit for your youth club, Sunday League squad, adore, or even pro team? Icarus FC can help you create that kit of your dreams at an affordable price. Let them help you design your new custom kit today at IcarusFC.com. That's IcarusFC.com.
For everyone here, thank you for joining us tonight. And we'll throw where you can find them in the show notes, because I'm not going to try and do this one again. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you